How do I, 41F, deal with unexpected jealousy over my ex-husband's, 42M, new girlfriend? My 41F, ex-husband, 42M, and I divorced when our son was 7. Fast forward to now, our son's 15, 16 in a few months. Somehow we managed to go from divorced and done to actually being pretty good friends. Like, we choose to hang out sometimes, not only when it involves our son, and we get along better than ever. It's worked out way better than I ever expected. My ex has started seeing someone new. They've been together for a little while now, but it's started to get more serious lately. I've met her, but don't know her well. My son is around her a lot more than I am, and he likes her a lot. I hate that this bothers me. Like, I'm genuinely embarrassed by how irritated I felt hearing him say how nice she is, how fun she is, how she makes his dad happy. I plastered on a smile and said all the right things, but inside I was surprised by how jealous I felt. She doesn't like that my ex and I are friends. She's fine with us communicating for our son, but the idea of us hanging out just because we want to is an absolute no in her book. And he started to pull back a little. He's not saying it out loud, but I can tell he's trying to adjust our dynamic to keep the peace in his new relationship. It stings. Months ago we planned a special trip for our son's 16th birthday, just the three of us. It was meant to be a shared memory, a kind of family-ish experience to mark a big milestone. It revolves around something my son is obsessed with, something my ex and I both enjoy too. But now the girlfriend's coming. Despite having no interest in the activity, I found out from my son, not my ex, which made it even worse. I haven't confronted him about it yet because I don't know how to bring it up without sounding jealous or possessive. But I'm honestly upset. It feels like a sacred little space that used to belong to the three of us is slowly being taken over. And I feel helpless to stop it without looking like the crazy ex-wife who can't let go. I didn't expect to feel this jealous, and I really don't want to come off as the crazy ex. But honestly, it feels like I'm losing way more than just a friendship here. I've worked really hard to be mature, supportive, and emotionally steady in this co-parenting journey. How do I manage these feelings without making it weird or damaging the progress we've all made? And how do I set boundaries, if I even can, without turning this into a drama-filled mess? Update. At the beginning of June, I asked for help with navigating these feelings I have regarding my son, my ex-husband, his new GF. Thanks to everyone who replied. Even though I don't think I got a ton of specific, actionable advice, I got a lot of opinions and some solid advice. I definitely heard the recurring message loud and clear: therapy. Some of the comments were genuinely helpful in nudging me to start unpacking the root of what I'm actually feeling, so I appreciate that. Will I go to therapy right now? Honestly, probably not immediately, but we'll see. Most of all of the issues are things I just need to work through on my own, but I decided to just ask my ex-husband directly about the whole concert/birthday trip situation. I told him that our son had mentioned his girlfriend is now coming on the trip, and I needed clarity about what the plan was so I could figure out hotel stuff. I kept it as neutral and non-confrontational as possible. Truthfully, I don't want her to come, and I'm still sort of seething over her being there. He admitted he hadn't told me yet because he was still hoping she'd back out. He said he doesn't want her to come, that it's going to make things awkward, and that she kind of inserted herself into the plan and made it really clear she expected to be invited. He felt like he couldn't say no without it hurting their relationship. He even said, "You think I want to go on a trip with both of you?" I suggested that maybe I should give her my concert ticket and buy a separate one so I wouldn't have to sit near them and she wouldn't have to stay back at the hotel. Or maybe I should just plan to take my son to a completely different date on the tour altogether, since it was probably going to be very awkward for all of us, especially since he was now claiming he also didn't want her to come. I don't want to buy a ticket and sit separately. I don't want to plan a whole other trip to a different tour date. The thought makes me really mad, but I felt like the adult thing to do was to at least suggest it. Maybe I just wanted to see what his reaction would be. He immediately said there was no way I was giving my ticket to her or sitting separately. He said there's no way I'm backing out or going to a different show. We've been planning this for almost a year. We did agree to cancel the shared hotel room and book separate rooms. I didn't bring up the fact that his girlfriend isn't thrilled with us spending time together. I feel like that's something I just need to accept. Most people in new relationships with someone who has a close relationship with an ex would probably feel the same. It's uncomfortable, but I get it, and I'll deal with those feelings on my own. What's hardest for me, though, is how much I still default to texting or talking to him. We used to talk daily, not just about things related to our son, but everything. He's been my best friend for over 20 years. And before anyone jumps in and says I sound like the obsessive ex calling him that, He said the same about me. I haven't had another best friend in a really long time. I had 2 close girlfriends years ago. Both of those friendships are long gone, not due to any sort of falling out, but due to reasons I don't want to get into here. Since then, I've struggled to find another close female friend, someone I really connect with on that deeper level. I have friends, just nobody like that. I'd say my ex-husband is the person I'm most myself with and the person I'm closest to in the world. So yeah, my ex is still that person. And I'm starting to realize that while I don't want him back romantically, I do still see him as mine. Not in a possessive, malicious way, but in that I think I've just never fully adjusted to him being someone with a life completely separate from mine. It's like he's still a character in my story, not somebody with an entire life of his own. I'm also trying to take the advice of getting to know his girlfriend, while also trying not to over-involve myself in their lives. I don't want to become best friends with my ex-husband's girlfriend. That just sounds uncomfortable to me. I spent some time over at his house today and she was there. They don't live together yet. He watched my dog for me overnight because I had a work event to go to. Well, it's my son's dog too, so the dog practically went over to his dad's with him. They have a splash pad for the dogs over there, so we were playing around with the dogs in the backyard. He starts asking me things like, top 5 albums of all time, go. Then we get into a friendly argument about our favorite albums, which evolved into top 5 guitarists, etc., and these are the things we get along about. I suddenly got the sense that she was not happy about our conversation since she doesn't seem to care about those things and couldn't participate in the conversation. I tried to steer the conversation in another direction so that she wasn't left out, but I'm terrible at making small talk. I decided to make my excuses to politely leave at that point. So now I guess it's just a matter of figuring out how you start emotionally detaching from someone who's been my closest person for so long, especially when you still co-parent and have to interact regularly. How do I detach? I never detached after we got divorced, even though I thought I had.
This story is coming to an end. Press like if you like this, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to hear more story from us.